All right, for those of you who need help with going over this practice test review, you can follow along with me or with us, because the beast is always following me. Hi, Lena. What are you doing, monster? Really? Okay, back to work. All right, standard form. Standard form means we put the highest exponent first. So looking at this, I have to the 5th would be my first one. And I always want to keep the sign in front of it with it. So we have negative 7x to the 5th as our first one. Then we have plus x to the 3rd, I believe that said before I scribbled through it. And minus 5x. If we are to name this by degree, it's got a 5 as the highest exponent. So it's going to be to the 5th degree. Okay, and the leading coefficient is going to be the number that's in front of the variable with the highest exponent. So it'll be negative 7. Okay, I will post an answer key at the end of this, so I'm not going to go ahead and do this one. You can check that out elsewhere. Okay, adding or subtracting polynomials. Make sure your answer is in standard form. So this one here says adding, so we very simply just combine like terms. I've got squareds over there, so one line, 1x there, 2 lines, sorry, then 1 line, 2 lines for that x, and 1 line for this one. If we combine our 2 lines, we have 3 and 4, so that'll give us 7x squared. 2x and a negative 10x. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're being distracting. Ooh. Anyway, where were we? Negative 10 and positive 2 will give us a negative 8x. And positive 3 and negative 6 is negative 3. Okay, but then we go over to our subtraction. And when we subtract, that means we have to multiply everything on this side by negative 1 or distribute our negative. So we get negative 2x squared plus x minus 7x to the 3rd. Bring down this side, which actually stays the same. So 8x minus 4x to the 3rd plus 3x squared. And then we have to combine like terms. So I'm going to do my fancy underlining thing. So I have 1 underline here, 3 for my 3rd exponent there. This one's squared, so 2 lines. This one squared, 2 lines. 1, 1, 2, 3. And now I combine like terms, starting with the highest exponent. So negative 4x to the 3rd and negative 7x to the 3rd will be negative 11x to the 3rd. And our squareds here, positive 3 and negative 2, so that's going to be plus x squared or 1x squared. And then our x's, positive 8 and positive 1, so plus 9x. Okay, so that's adding and subtracting. This last one here, when you see subtract this from this, we have to remember that from is one of those fancy switch words. So from goes first. That means this one that's behind is going to go in the front. So I have 7x squared plus 2x minus 5. And I'm going to put it in parentheses. And I'll tell you why in a second. Minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay, now the reason I do parentheses is because I have to remember when I'm subtracting, I'm not just subtracting the first term. I have to subtract all of them, which means we have to change the signs. So negative 3x squared, positive 4x, and negative 6. Then we bring down this whole thing, which was 7x squared plus 2x and minus 5. Combine like terms, 2 here, 1 there, and then constants. 7 minus 3, 4x squared, plus 6x and minus 11. And you're done. Okay, page 1, naming polynomials, adding and subtracting polynomials. Okay, if we move on, The length and width in inches of a rectangle are represented by 2a and 3a minus b. Express the perimeter. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do here is draw the rectangle. If I have 2a and 3a minus b, and I want to find the perimeter, that means I need to add all the sides. So I'm going to write it everywhere and combine like terms. All the a's go together. 2 and 3 is 5, 2 and 3 is 5, that gives us 10 a's, and 1, 2 negative b's. And that's the perimeter. Finding the following products. Products means to multiply. So when we multiply things like this, we multiply the coefficients and we add the exponents. If there's no exponent there, we know it's a 1. So in this case, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. X to the 5th and x to the 1st tells us that altogether we have 6 x's. When you're over here in something like this, don't get scared that there's this many, just do it that many times. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6, times negative 4 is positive 24. 1x, 2 x's, 3, 4, 5 x's. So x to the 5th. 1y, 3 y's, 5 y's. Y to the 9th. Just like that. Simplifying the following expressions. This is simply distributing. So in this case, negative 2x times 2x is going to be negative 4x squared. And negative 2x times negative 4 is positive 8x. And that's it. Okay, on something like this, 13, all you're doing is distributing a negative. So that changes these signs. Negative n minus 5. Bring down your 2n, combine like terms. N minus 5. That's it. So on this one, you would distribute your negative here, distribute your 3x here, and then combine like terms. Check the answer key to check your work. Moving on to multiplying polynomials. Starting with binomials, or multiplying binomials, we have 2 terms and 2 terms. So we need a box that is a 2 by 2. 5x minus 2 and x minus 2. Multiply your top box times your side. 5x times x, 5x squared. Negative 2 times x, negative 2x. 5x times negative 2, negative 10x, and negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Combine like terms always, usually on the diagonal. Pull out your highest exponent first. So 5x squared minus 12x and plus 4. Okay, you can try these and check the answer key. Remember that when you square something, it just means to multiply it by itself. So this one technically means x plus 9 times x plus 9. Over here you have a conjugate pair. If you recall, what happens with conjugate pairs is that we lose the middle term. They cancel out, so your result will be a binomial. We call that the difference of 2 squares. Okay, and I'm going to level you up. I'll take you to 21, where we have a 3 by 2. So I have to make myself a box that has 3 terms on one side and 2 on the other. So I have 3x squared minus 4x plus 2 up here, and I have x plus 3 down here. And we do the same thing as if we had a 2 by 2. 3x squared times x is 3x to the 3rd. Negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. And positive 2 times x is positive 2x. And then down on this side, 3 times 3, x squared is 9x squared. And negative 4 times 3 is negative 12x and plus 6. Pulling out your highest exponent first, we're going to have 3x squared. Combine like terms on your diagonal, so plus, whoops, that was supposed to be 3rd, 3x to the 3rd, plus 5x squared, plus 10x, and then plus 6 by itself. Okay, when they give you word problem, read carefully what they're asking for, and here area is in bold, which means we're looking for the area, not the perimeter. And the formula for area is length times width. So we're going to be multiplying the length times the width. And they gave it to us expressed as two trinomials. This is a long one. If we have two trinomials, that means we need a 3 by 3 box. I need to fit 3 terms across the top and 3 terms going down the side. So I have x squared minus x plus 3 and 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 on the side. 2x squared times x squared is going to give me 2x to the 4th, because 2 times 1 is 2, and there's 2 x's here and 2 x's here, so that gives me to the 4th. Negative x times this whole jazz is going to be negative 2x to the 3rd, and 3 times 2x squared is positive 6x squared. X squared times 3x will be, 3x to the 3rd, negative 3x squared plus 9x minus 5x squared plus 5x and minus 15. Okay, once again, your like terms all on your diagonals. Okay, and that's, as long as this is in standard form and your exponents match up, that's going to happen. But sometimes it doesn't, so be careful. Okay, highest exponent first. That would be my 2x to the 4th. Then my thirds, 3x to the 3rd minus 2x to the 3rd is just a 1x to the 3rd. Negative 5, negative 8 plus 6, negative 2x squareds plus 14x and minus 15. There is nothing to combine here. You are finished. Oh, and that's it. We've done all of the review. Thanks for checking in. See you soon.